Sorry.
Why?
I'm ready to roll.
Alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Commons. My name is Ike Steele, and to my right,
And Yosuji, House of Commons.
LD DeMola, House of Commons.
Pascal Atuma, House of Commons.
House of Commons.
Alright.
Lords.
Morris.
Chief Biko.
Chief, oh,
Yeah,
no.
Yoruba boy.
Whack it back. Now you come. Okay,
Good morning.
today we have a very, very interesting topic for you guys. Gentlemen of the House of Commons, we ask, what is the appropriate or acceptable age in a relationship? What is the appropriate or acceptable age difference in a relationship? Guys, who want to go first?
You want to go?
Oh.
Yeah, in a relationship, I don't think it should be based on age, except if the person is underage. The person is once in America.
What is underage, first of all?
Okay, underage in American laws, underage, anything below 18 is underage.
Okay.
Right.
In America. For me, once someone is above 18 years old, if you want to date somebody 6,000 years old, that's your business. If you want to date somebody 9 million years old, that's your business. Because sometimes age, you see some men that are 50, and you see some girls that are 25, but are smarter than the men of 50. Right? Sometimes you see a guy that's 22 years old, that's more intelligent than a man that's 48. So are you going to marry a fool because he's 48? And then the young guy that's 22 because of his age? That's when it comes into play, when people say it's just a number. What I'm against is people dating underage. I'm against it. And coming from where we come from in Africa, they don't know what it is. You know, so a lot of people in Africa, if they were in America, would be in prison for life. Yeah, that's the truth. You know, a lot of people, they will be in prison
They
for
will be
life.
in jail, yeah.
You know, so some people in Africa are actually mentally sick without knowing that they're mentally sick.
It's not just in Africa, but
No, well,
It's from other cultures.
well, if it's not a
Can I-
law,
can
then
I finish?
if, right, you
Yeah.
can finish.
Okay, if it's not a law, sometimes you have to make what we call concerned citizens law, where you use your own brain to know what is up. Because if someone I'm talking about me now, right? I see an MF come into our house or our family and mess with my missus when they're like 14, 15, 16. If I catch you, you're dead. Law or no law. So in that case, I like the American law that says if you're not up to 18, nobody should mess with you. But once you're above 18, for me, there's no age difference. Anything goes.
Okay. No, I brought the topic in. I'm moderating. I hope you guys will let me moderate. So,
No, you can't moderate.
so who wants to go between the two of you?
I'll go.
Okay.
They're definitely, I agree with actually everything that you said. I think that, like you said, it depends on the age. Like, you know, if you're, it definitely matters. Like, if she's 18 or 16, then, you know, she's 16 and it's not cool, you know, as long as she has to be of age, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely got to be of age, 18 and above. But there are people who are 45 and they think like they're 18. I know people, I met them, they're in their 40s and they think their mentality is not of somebody that's had the wealth, should have the wealth of experience of somebody that's in their 40s. So it's when they say age is nothing but a number, that's a real thing, you know, because if you haven't had certain amount of experience, have a certain amount of knowledge or whatever, you know, it depends. Because some, you know, and also another thing too, we're missing out too, is women are more, they say, are more
They mature
a little faster. So they mature faster. So, you know, I definitely think so. To summarize, I would say that if I'm 30, I think a good appropriate age, I would say between, for me, no more than like 4 years, for me personally. But I could date.
Above or below?
Below me.
Below you, okay.
No more than, no more than like 5 years is, it depends. Like, I'm a little older now, but 5 years is cool, but it depends on the age. Because if I'm 40, you know, people, I mean, as you know, if you're 40, people are marrying people who are like 60 and 50 You know, a woman who's 40, man, somebody who's 50, and you know, a man who's 50 and 60, and there's no difference because a woman is 40 at that point. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the mentality, depends on your preference, a lot of different things.
Same thing here. I think it depends on the life experiences of each partner. I think it also differs, or there's a difference between a man marrying somebody younger or older,
Right.
and a woman marrying somebody or dating somebody younger or older. I think it's different in both scenarios. I don't think they're unique
Why?
to.
Because of the
be the same.
biological connotations?
We'll get into that, but for me personally, I think because I had to grow up fast, I can't see myself communicating effectively with somebody who is 3 to 4 years younger than me. I don't understand. I don't really know what we will be talking about that relates. You know, maybe music, maybe I'm 28 years old. So a 24-year-old, from my life experiences, the way I thought when I was 24 is not how I think at the age of 28. And maybe I could meet somebody who thinks the same way. I do have cousins who are that age, and I don't see us thinking the same way. I think like an older person. I will say though, it shifts when it comes to an older woman, right? These days, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the older ladies are kind of fly. Just gonna be honest. But getting into a scenario like that, I can't see them not trying to mother me. I feel like they would try to be my mother, and I don't think that would
At
work.
what age difference?
Like, you know, 32 and above, 4 years older. You know, so my girlfriend at this specific time, we're the same exact age. She's actually 27, I'm 28. So, you know, I think it works better that way because we have, you know, the same.
You know what I'm laughing? Why are we even on this panel with these two people?
No, it's good. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, go
It's a
ahead.
beautiful thing.
I'm coming.
It's a beautiful thing. All right, guys.
I like older men
This-
too. You like older men.
At what
I mean,
age?
not old,
When
not
you say
old, not old,
older.
not old,
What
not
age
old at all.
difference? Fine, LD. I
go
appreciate.
ahead.
Like
go
Claire
on, go on.
Huxtable
Okay.
kind, like old, like.
Oh, we'll get into it.
Okay, we'll get into
I
that.
like the little sugar mama.
I love you giving your definition with saying what your age is and saying very important. Look, I'm 44. Happy.
Come on, bruh! Don't do it like that. He's a smooth brother, man. I feel you, bro. You're a classic man, bro. You look
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
very young. You know, you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm 44, okay? I think it's good we establish our age so you pretty much know where we're coming from, where our mind thought, frame of mind and everything is.
Yeah.
The way I thought when I was in my 20s is totally different from the way I think now, okay?
Right.
Now the question is, what is the appropriate age? Or appropriate or acceptable age? To me, what is the appropriate or acceptable age difference to me really doesn't matter much, but we're talking about, when you say age is nothing but a number, but because I'm a little bit older than you guys, I don't see myself dating people that anybody that is older than me. I don't care how smart you are, how much money you have, because I'm older. I'm 44. I don't want to date somebody who's 50 or 40.
It doesn't matter how much money she has. Are you
Well,
sure?
when you start looking at that age, start looking at that age, they're going to menopause. You have to consider that. What is menopause for a woman? That means what? Sex rate drops, and if they don't shoot up hormones or something, you know, they're not going to be up
So
there.
you're saying that their sex drive is not
That's
powerful?
how it is naturally. That's what happens to a woman when you get older. So, well, I guess I just lost all our fans that are older than me.
Okay,
It doesn't matter about that. It doesn't matter about that. But that's me though. I like younger women, but there has to be something up here. There has to be something up here. When I say there's something up here, I've dated different classes of younger women. I married a very younger woman. She was 15 years younger than me. Right, and we did well. What we didn't agree on is the fact that she was not the right person for my rate. But when we talk about mentality and mindset, she's okay. She thinks like an adult. Maybe because she's not from here. She's European.
Oh, so that's another dimension.
European, like Nigerians, like some. Although we're gonna go deeply into it because I want to say like a 16-year-old Nigerian thinks more mature, female thinks more mature than a 20-year-old female American. It's controversial.
Okay.
We can go into that. Okay, as we
Okay,
talk.
let me add on to what I said. When I was available to date, it's not now that I'm no longer available to date. When I was available to date,
No. I just like to hear.
when I was available to date, yes, I dated older women because there's some classy older women out there. When you mean classy, I mean classy to the T. And I like them classy and beautiful. So, age wasn't what I looked at. I looked at the individual.
Okay.
Because when then I was just dating. You understand what I'm saying?
Age-wise,
Age-wise, it didn't.
Where were you?
Age-wise, then
what was your age?
up to when they caught me. You know, up to when I caught me, that means
It's trying to put you in hold. Yeah, you're doing a good job of getting that way.
I'm
Let's say in the
trying to
30s.
find
Say in
out.
the 30s.
No, it wasn't me. We were in my 20s, in my 30s.
Okay, cool.
I matured fast, right, because of the business. You know, I've been in business for a long time with my brother Oscar. So once you get into your own business, it does something to you. You mature by force because you have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
So with my brother, we established our first business when I was 19, he was 21. That was when we first became entrepreneurs.
Was that like 20 years ago?
Many years ago. Right? So
okay.
so we established our first business, and then after that, then I came to America. When I came to America, I only worked, I told you, I came to America October 7th of 1995. By October 7th of 2000,
Thanks, you've been here 20 years.
yeah, by October 7th, 2000, I already have my own business. So that because of the mentality we grew up with. That made me. I remember when I was 23 or 24, I used to date the bank manager.
And she was how old?
She was about 30 something,
Okay.
right? But then I'm not a good digger, but I needed to date that bank manager to keep my business going. Then, period.
You know,
We're keeping it real, right?
yeah, okay.
Yeah, because
the money is not.
No, it wasn't about money. It was about the experiences. She was teaching me how to grow my business. And I liked that. She was a good woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was a good woman. I knew that I was not going to... Yeah, I'm being real. You know, so... Another to being young from Nigeria, coming into the financial system in America, getting a chance to date a bank manager, she was teaching me a lot. I learned a lot. How to flip money, how to buy stocks and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because
What did you give her?
What did I give her? I gave her me.
Bush.
No, I gave her me. She was my good friend. We're still friends up to today. But my mentality there was not, I'm going to marry this 36-year-old woman.
Was she African American or was she
African American? African American.
Okay.
She was a beautiful. Can I finish?
Oh, okay.
She was a beautiful soul. So what I'm saying is this: I don't think we should attach. Once someone is above 18, I don't think it's right to say.
This is appropriate.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Let me give you where it backfires. That's a lawyer chick, an attorney, that I used to date many years ago. And then I was about 6 years older than her. She said, "Oh, Pascal, I like you a lot, but my rule is that I don't do anything -4 + 4. Or -5 + 5.
Wow.
But you know what? She's 39 now. -5 + 5 is still waiting.
That's a white mentality. You're making a lot of sense.
Yeah. Then she was 26 or 27, right? And then she told me that, oh, I like it about because
you're older.
Okay, now people will say maybe she didn't like you that much. That's a lie. Because then when I was 20 something, I was rolling in money. I was young and I had money. I had 3 businesses. I had 3 shops. 20 something going into 30 something. You have that kind of stuff. You guys. I had game. So when she said that, I left her. But you know what? She's 39 now. -5 + 5 is still waiting. Menopause is at what age?
It's actually their
Okay,
40s,
so what,
before
this is why I'm saying it because of 2 of you, right? As my brothers, that age +4 -4, whatever, remove it because you might meet a 23-year-old girl. You're 28 now, right? You might meet a 22-year-old girl from a very grounded family
Absolutely.
Yeah.
who they have trained her and groomed her.
Absolutely.
That,
Yeah, that's
that
true.
she is leader among women.
Absolutely.
That's
That's
why
fine.
you can't turn that down.
Because-
Because
No,
you-
that's fine.
well, there's something
No
going on.
argument about that.
Yeah, you can't turn that down.
That's true.
So I want you guys to keep an open mind.
Can I?
The only,
let them
the
respond,
only thing,
President.
yeah, the only thing that I would advise you
Yeah,
to
go
watch, because this one, no matter how beautiful you look outside, the inside tells the real age.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that I hear what you're saying, and I do agree to a certain extent. I disagree. So I would say I agree with you about 25%, but I disagree about 75%.
Yeah, give us a reason why. Yeah.
Let me tell you why.
Right.
I disagree because the way a lot of these women here these days are socialized. At 21, 22, I don't believe that, especially for me right now, I'm 29. For me right now, a lot of these women, yes, some of them are really mature, but some of them are not socialized to have that kind of experience, and a lot of these girls are in that party playtime phase. They haven't dated enough as an adult yet. They're just 22. 4 years ago, they were 18 years old. In this society, not Nigeria or some other, but not just Nigeria, other societies, maybe even Europe, other places, 18 is like 25.
Good.
You know, because it's a different mentality.
Did you finish your thoughts?
That's pretty much it. That's
Okay,
what I
good.
wanted to say.
Before you come in, because I guess y'all leave. Well, I guess what Pascal is saying is, you're right. At that age bracket, a lot of women are not mature enough to
Yeah,
have a
they're
conversation.
budget-
But he's saying there's
Yeah,
always
budget
that exception to the rule.
Yeah, that's why I said 25%.
There's always
I
an
agree.
exception.
That's why I said 25%. I agree.
Okay, good.
Because I dated young
And-
Let
women.
them miss a jewel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right,
I did
because
not
you put
say-
a label to age difference.
I didn't put a label on it.
yeah.
All I said was I
Right.
don't see on a regular basis what we will be communicating with each other that will actually relate if I'm that much older than you and I think above my age. So I don't know exactly what we will be. And another thing, that I asked you something specific about the lady that you were with. It also has to do with your goal in that relationship, right? So we can say menopause all we want, but I know pretty much factually in this country, there are a lot of women who are single who are looking for younger men.
Viral.
Yes.
And
A
why?
lot of women looking for. So if menopause is what stops them from having sexual intercourse,
no,
it
children.
seems like they're looking for more than anything.
Okay,
Well,
well,
after that age.
Let's put it in
I
perspective.
like to
Let's
promote
put-
myself, but go ahead.
Just,
But
yes.
dingo woman.
Oh my
No,
God.
no, 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 sister,
Let's
continue.
put it in
Continue.
perspective. Yeah, I want to come in. I want to come in. Let me come in.
Continue, I'm just joking.
Well, you look, okay, what I said initially is where you are in life determines a lot, okay? Most women in their 40s and 50s, one, they like younger men. Why? Because the men in their age bracket also, their energy is not equipped enough. Because wait, in your 40s and 50s,
What kind of energy are you referring to?
Don't worry, just leave it at the energy.
action
Continue, right?
energy.
Alright.
As a matter of fact, because in your 40s and 50s, I would think you should get your shit together as far as your finances and where you want to be in life.
What if she just wants to date? Like, just date
as far
and
as far as having material wealth and position or your direction in life, you should pretty much be set about that or know where you're going or working towards, because that age, that's when you should be leaders of countries, ministers, and running shit. You should be, CEOs and whatever of corporations. Okay, so there's a big mentality for a woman that is in her 40s and 50s and a man that is in his 40s and 50s compared to the shift. So we can flip flop the age and the dating and the relationship, and everybody's always looking for something. But you have to know what you're looking for, and yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Okay.
Keeping it real, nobody enters into a relationship without something in it for
Exactly.
him or her.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Exactly.
Appreciate
That is
That's
true.
why I asked you, what is that lady getting from
There
you?
has to be
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, you see. So when that lady, I was dating that lady, she liked me for a lot of reasons. She liked this young African guy that's running 3 shops. Then I had 3 shops in Dallas. Then she liked, I was Remember, I studied engineering before I came out, and that was just because my degree.
Before you came out to America.
America, right? So I could speak. I'm from the kind of family I'm from, so I know how to carry myself. So when we go to their bank functions, I know how to carry myself, and she liked that, and she liked introducing me as my own business owner. So she was getting something socially, I was getting something social, and then nothing. We liked each other naturally. It wasn't really. I didn't go to her because she was a bank manager. Because when I met her in the club, we met at the club.
You didn't know her job?
I didn't know her job.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. So in a relationship, it's something in for everybody. But the deal where I want to touch on is this: people should start putting rules and regulations on life, because life is too short for that. Should stop.
Oh, stop. Okay.
Putting like barriers. All right. You know, like saying. I'll give you an example. I'm going to look on the camera and say this. That girl, the attorney girl, that told me then that, because I was 6 years older than her, that it was -5 or +5. Some people say she didn't like me. If you don't like a man, you don't give them no sugar, do you? Right? So I already had sugar.
Oh, you
What is sugar?
I already had
Is it a
sugar,
sugar
ice
bowl
cream,
or?
sugar bowl, ice cream bowl. I already had all that. Right? So it's not
Nanny? Is that what you're referring to?
I don't know what you're talking about. So, but I'm trying to make a point here, right? If at that point, that girl removed that age bracket and married me, today she would have been blessed. Because now she would have had children, right? She would have had a family. Do you understand what I'm saying? But she put that and I moved on. Now she's still single at 39 with her attorney degree. And I know her parents are putting pressure on her. The menopause is coming very close. Is it menopause or
Menopause. Yeah.
Right, it's coming very close. So it is actually different for a man can put all those rules and regulations because a man at 50, 55 can still push
60, 70 can still deliver.
Hold on, I'm coming, right? Can still push out something. Even if they do the sperm count, most of them are dead. There might be 2 or 4 still alive. Right?
Yes, definitely.
That can impregnate
I
somebody.
ain't stressed out.
yeah, but hey, do you want us to do a real show? You want
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
but for a woman, there's a certain age once you get to, those eggs are not there to be fertilized.
When you get...
And even those eggs are fertilized, you see some children that are born with some
deficiencies.
Can I-
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, my brother.
This is one thing I just want to just define. What are we looking for specifically? Because for me personally, right now, I'm not trying to promote myself in any kind of way, but I'm down for the sugar mama at this point in time in my life. I'm just saying.
This is the house of Thomas.
So I'm gonna keep it all the way real.
You just put it out there?
I just put it out there. I'm down with sugar mama. So for
You just want to have a good time.
I'm right now. I'm cool to have a good time. 44, 45 is cool. It's cool. But on a serious note, it depends on what I'm looking for too. Like if I'm dating right now, seriously dating right now, for me personally, like I said, I agree with you. 23, 20, I don't want to go anything lower than 22.
Okay, good.
That's just my own. But at the same time, I would date somebody who's, I think seriously dating, I don't think I'll go anything older than 33 or 34. Because I'm already about to be 30 myself. So it's kind of like, that makes more sense for me. So 35 is kind of like too much for me personally.
You know why?
Why?
You haven't seen a 40-year-old
Pascal,
woman that will cross this age now.
No, but I'm saying seriously dating. I'm saying
You've been
seriously
quiet.
dating.
Would you have something to say?
Yeah, I just want to be realistic about the situation.
Okay.
As we've said, people are in it for different reasons.
Yeah.
But I think your age does define what you're in a relationship for.
What do you say?
To be quite honest, so we can say we don't put age in a relationship, but I think your age has something to do with what you're looking for in a relationship. A lady who is 15 years older than a 25-year-old is probably not looking for what a 25-year-old woman is looking for in a 25-year-old man.
True.
Just to be quite honest,
That's
so it's factual that yes, I don't want to put labels on age, but chances are 75% of the time, a 25-year-old guy and a 24-year-old girl are probably looking for the same thing. Another thing I'll say is when men date younger women, you can argue this against me if you want. I think, from what I've seen, most of the time that is a girl who's looking for a father figure or somebody who's completely given up on her peer group of men. Does that make sense?
When she dates younger?
You said two different things.
No,
Yeah,
okay, so I said a woman who dates a man
yeah, that's
older, let's say a 25-year-old
A woman that's going for older men.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
A woman who dates
yeah.
a man older, so a 25-year-old girl who dates a 40-year-old man, has either given up on 25-year-old men or men around her age group, or is somebody who is looking for some kind of father figure that she may not have had in her life. Would
Okay,
you agree
good.
with that?
No.
Okay.
That's,
Some
I'm
daddy
gonna come in.
issues.
I'm gonna yeah.
Would you agree or disagree?
So maybe she got some daddy issues.
I cannot disagree, but touching on this, since we went to sugar daddy and so that, I recently
Sugar mama.
Well, my case. Do you know recently? I found that people are hitting me up on Tinder,
Ooh.
and when they hit me up on Tinder, I look at the profile what they're looking for. They say they're looking for sugar daddy. I'm like, OMG.
So you were
So
sugar
damn the
daddy
sugar
now.
daddy that they have in they are looking for.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that, man, I'm
Are you?
old.
But are you?
Can I ask something?
But are you down?
Can I ask
Well,
something?
no, let me finish. Let me finish. You answer. Let me finish. But Pascal, in perspective, I'm looking at when I was in my 20s, I had I knew men that were in their 40s. They were coming around and offering my sisters because I have 5 sisters. So I grew up around women about the same age, like within a 10-year gap. So I remember how those guys were coming around and they had a lot of resources to provide financially and the cars, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, so this is me, like those men back then, and these girls are here. So I'm not sugar daddy.
Can I just add to it?
Okay, add to what you
Go back.
And would you, if we brought both graphs, would you agree if I said the reason why that is skyrocketing is because a lot of girls have daddy issues in this society?
No, not necessarily. I mean, that could have cost it, but a lot of girls have financial issues. That's what it is.
Okay,
It's
can I-
about
can
money.
I come-
Because they specifically say, okay, let me finish, then you go. Please, real quick. Okay, one of the girls that hit me up and talk about sugar daddy, I asked her, Shaq, have you done this before? I said, no. I said, explain, what is a sugar daddy? What kind of relationship we're going to have? She said, okay, somebody that you can take out. If it's for dinner, if you want to hang out with me for dinner, it's $200. If you want more, it's $500. That's what she explained.
Oh, that's
I'm
a
like,
prostitute.
Never in
so
life.
that's a sugar daddy.
No.
Pascal, that's a sugar daddy, sugar daughter
No,
relationship.
this one is looking for someone to take care of her. She said, oh, she's a prostitute. Let me explain why I say she's a prostitute.
What is a sugar daddy, sugar
hold on,
daughter relationship?
Hold on. If when you asked her, and she said, oh, I want to date you, I want us to hang out, you know what I'm saying? I want you to
So you can be a
I
father
want you
figure
to
to
help
me.
out sometimes or something. But for her to put
A price.
a price on it,
Yeah.
that makes her a prostitute in my own book.
Okay.
Anybody else can argue the way they want to argue.
I don't disagree though, but I'm saying.
So coming in there, Audi, I'm gonna go into Audi, right? Audi, before I settled down, right? I had a couple.
Settled.
Yeah, before
So-
I settled
so you're
down.
settled
Yeah,
on
I
a
was
deal
settled.
thing.
Yeah, I'm not looking for any girl. If I'm talking to you, I'm cheating. Yeah, I'm really real. If I come to you, knows that I'm coming to cheat with you.
This
Well,
man,
yeah.
you've changed though. You're
Yeah,
now a changed
hold
man.
on.
You're a change.
Wow.
Hold on,
I'm
let me
impressed.
finish.
He's a
Let me
change.
finish.
Just about to say.
Let me finish. Before I settled down, right, I had a couple of chicks. You know that, right?
I don't.
Side chicks.
Y'all can't do this,
And they
though.
all had age differences. Some 30 something,
Right.
some 20 something, some 29. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but their age was not how I picked. I picked based on intelligence.
Intellect. Okay. Yeah.
Am I making
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah.
You know, so sometimes age doesn't
I agree.
Of course.
Of course.
to
I agree
intelligence
with
and
you.
substance.
True.
I'll give you an example. A young kid whose parents have a convenience store, a young girl, who, when she was in high school, 16, 17, when she got out of high school, she comes to her father's shop to help her daddy and her mom out of the shop. And sometimes she's the one running the shop, right? If she has done that for maybe 10 years and she's now 25, right? And then you meet another young girl who has not done anything like that, right? But who is about 30, all she's done was go to school only. When after school,
Yeah,
she's
she's been sheltered. Okay.
She's been
Yeah.
sheltered.
All her life, huh?
When you talk to that one at 30 and talk to the other young kid at 25, you're talking to two
Different mentalities. Correct.
right? So in this case, if I'm 32 or 33, and I put a quote on there, I'm not dating anybody below 4, right? And I meet these two girls, and I disqualified the 25. I've disqualified a Jewel.
But Pascal, you're preaching to the choir. You made your point over and over.
So, that's what I'm coming in.
This
So,
man,
Can I say something?
yeah, you can respond, please.
The topic was what's a good age?
Was
difference?
the appropriate or acceptable age difference in a relationship?
And I think honestly, if people are really honest these days, it's changing. You know, if I'm me personally, my preference is what I think is a reasonable preference because of what I grew up in. My parents are about 4 years apart, so I think
How many years? 4?
4.
Okay.
And I think depending on what
Who's
age,
older, your father?
my dad's about 4 years older than my mom, so or 3 actually. So that's kind of what I go by. But when I was in school, I think the society is changing, and I think because of finances, we were talking about finances, sugar dad, there's a whole like system. It's like a big business. Like I didn't even realize how many girls in my school were about that sugar daddy business and paying tuition like that, like paying for tuition, paying for their food, paying for their rent, everything off of sugar daddy, and you never know who's who. So I think that's really interesting because nowadays it's like you don't want to, because a lot of these girls, they grow up not wanting to date the guys their age, and even if they do date guys their age, it's kind of like, what are they dating? Is it just a temporary thing for fun, or what is it for? Or is it out of convenience? It's something that they're gaining, like we're talking about. They're gaining something from the situation, something, maybe some monetary benefit from being with that guy. So, and I'm not saying it's all about, it's Ashley, because I was Ashley Madison or whatever, one of them, but it just goes to show that, speaking to one of our previous topics about the finances and how big of a role it plays in our interactions as men and women.
Okay, so I want to ask a question, but also probably make a statement. I personally don't think long-term a real relationship based on both parties loving each other. I don't know if a long-term relationship can be sustained where both parties are benefiting from each other based on love.
If
right?
what? If what?
If the age difference is that huge.
How
like
huge?
10, 15 years. Because I think, even without life experiences, I think biology plays a role in how you think and how you experience life, right? So, me compared to the 18-year-old me has less energy now than I did 18 years ago, or when I was 18. So I don't approach life the same way. And I don't know if that's specifically...
Not
hold
you
on.
just spoke. No.
I don't know if that's specifically because of life experiences or that's because of wisdom, natural wisdom that comes with biology.
Okay.
So
Can I? You done?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think it's both, LD.
Yeah.
I think it's both because look, you realize I was your age about how many, 15 years ago or something like that? I don't know, or even more. Yeah, right? Something like that. Anyways, the way I thought at that age in relationship and everything was totally different from how I think now. It's very possible, and for most men, it's a beautiful thing when you find a younger woman that has the intellect. Because one, I think I'm a little bit financially stable and secure now than I was in my 20s. I know what I can bring to the table financially, which I've dated girls that were my age when I was 20, and I was terrified about our future because I wasn't secure about how I'll be able to sustain a family. That was one of my fears. I dated a very beautiful, I'm not going to mention the race, but that was one of my biggest fears. Am I able to go to this girl's parents and, financially take care of, because I believe you, as a man, you have to be financially responsible for your family. It's not the same with me now where I am. And I enjoy talking to the 25, 26, 27, 28 girls in there. I enjoy that. I prefer that to pick women in their 40s. Because you know why?
What about 30s? No, you skipped the 30s.
I still like 30s. No, because you mentioned 20s and we're talking about this conversation. This panel is between me and you is like 40s and 20s versus 20s.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to keep some things in perspective.
Okay.
Because look, made me forget my train of thought right now.
Okay, can I go then?
Can I ask you a question?
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you said now you're financially stable. What about if you were 28 and financially stable? Would you date or marry a woman who is 20 years or 15 years older than you, who's also financially stable? Or do you think the money that you have, you can actually
Can I answer that question?
yeah.
When I was in my 20s, I was really, really financially stable because I had my own businesses. And my girlfriend then was 5 years older than me, but she was beautiful. You know, African American, beautiful girl. So if you are in your 20s or 30s and you are financially stable, then you have the power to choose who you want. Am I making sense? Yeah, because finances do help a lot.
So that's why you didn't marry her. You weren't. You didn't choose her.
No. It wasn't. It didn't got nothing to do with that. You remember I changed careers. You know, I was in business. Then when I went to school, after I finished school, I switched careers completely. I went from entrepreneurship to show business. So in the midst of switching that career, when there was something you said one day on the show, you said a man with a vision. And when a man with a vision is very stubborn. So immediately my vision came, and this is where I wanted to go. Nothing else around me mattered except that career.
Yeah.
So I spent my 30s, right, pursuing this career, show business, 100% over 100. So anything else around me didn't mean.
Did he answer your question?
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah. So if at that age I wanted to marry, right, it would have been a different ballgame.
Would you have married? And you said 5 years. I'm talking about 10, 15.
Would you
I'm
have
talking about
married
you're 25
someone
years
still
old.
when she's
10,
10?
15.
40 years old.
No, my brother.
Okay, good. Answer the question. Let me answer the question now. Yeah, probably I would not. You know why? It's not because she's not beautiful or anything. If I was 28 and somebody was 15 years older than me, well, that makes her in her, how many age? Help me here. 30, 40, 43, 43, 40, 44, 42, 43.
Let's say she's 15 years old.
Okay?
40 years old.
Let's say something like that, okay? If she's because at that age, most of the time she's already had a baby or two. If she's the kind that chooses not to have a kid and she hasn't had any kids, she probably doesn't want to have any kid anymore. And that time you're putting yourself in more risk to the child if you get pregnant. Except if you're like a Halle Berry and you have a lot of money to have doctors around you to go through all the health, you're putting yourself. So probably I will not, because I'm a guy that wants family. I love kids. I want to have kids. So those will be part of my considerations regardless of the money at that time. See, that would be the one factor that will affect my thinking.
Do you want to say something?
No, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that I'm only 29, so I think it's a different thing.
Yeah, I want to add something to it.
Okay.
For age to play a role, number one, there are two things in place. Are you dating for marriage?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
Are you dating for fun?
Okay.
Okay, when you're dating for fun,
It doesn't matter.
Age doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when you're dating for marriage, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
Now let's assume.
And I wanted to touch on what you guys were talking about earlier about, because you talked about it earlier about the energy. Because for me, I mean, I feel like, and I could be wrong, I'm just guessing. I feel like I will have enough energy in 5 years, in 6 years, to be dealing with somebody who's much younger than me and match them with energy. That's just my personality.
I think you can still, even when you're 40 and 50, are you kidding me? If you do the right thing.
But y'all old. Y'all don't look like y'all got
do the right thing.
Let me say, and I'm gonna go back to what I said.
Yeah.
Let's assume that. That's why I said I don't believe long term a relationship with that much of an age difference can.
Oh, you're saying as you guys are getting older?
Because no, if I'm 25 and she's 45, because you just mentioned if you're dating for fun, age doesn't matter. If you're dating for marriage, age matters.
Yeah,
From my perspective, I can't see a 40-year-old lady, right, who is in love with a 25-year-old man, marrying for seriousness if she was able to see another 40-year-old man or somebody in her age group that actually brought the same thing that 25-year-old brought to the table. I cannot see a real relationship, right? I'm not saying all the time, but generalizing.
You are right. No. You know why? You know why women even do that? Because at that age, if she's 45, most men that are 40s don't really have her time because they're busy looking for younger women too. So most times she will not find the kind of guys that will give her the kind of attention that she needs.
Makes sense.
The main thing is everybody has to be honest and put things be honest and put things in perspective. What are you in it for? And from my knowledge or experience of dating women, most women go into relationship with an end game in mind. Most men go into relationship with no end game
with
in
fun
mind.
game.
That's how we
Can I add to
with
that?
fun
Can I ask
game in
that?
mind. Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Did you wanna ask
I was going to say something.
Okay.
Because I agree with what you're saying. They do go with an end game in mind, but I know people who I know people have friends that are in their 40s, women that are in their 40s, and yeah, they've had kids and they've been with people and whatever, but some of them literally just want to have sex, and some of them just want to get their freak on.
The ones that are in the 40s.
They're in their 40s,
Okay.
and there's no end game. I just want to facilitate,
Okay.
feed that need.
Right.
For real. So it's not just always about they wanting to settle down and have some sort of relationship.
True.
Although I do agree that most women are not wired to be just cracking everybody in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They're mostly wired to be in something that's
Okay.
stable.
LD.
Can I-
Yeah, go
okay,
ahead. Yeah, and I'm going to jump into that after you.
And
Go, Pastor, you want to?
I want to ask this: a woman at age 40, 45 is, from my perspective, is more honest about what she wants.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
That is
I'm
so
just gonna be honest.
deep and so true.
Would you
Okay.
agree if I said that a lot of women who are in their 20s, 25s, I don't know if it's that they're unsure or that they're not honest about what they want out of a relationship from a man? Would you-
Both.
Can I
I
ask
think it's both.
It's both of them. I agree with you on that one.
Women from the age of 28 to 35, most of them know what they want.
I'm more honest. Yeah.
They're more honest because once women hit 28,
Yeah.
More realistic.
29,
Yeah.
they're looking for husband because they want to have their keys.
Mm.
Some of them want to have the keys and finish before they're 35.
Mm.
Some want to finish before they're 36. But I don't see
I agree.
any woman out there that tells you that she wants to have a kids when she's 40 is lying.
I agree. That's so true.
But am I making
Yeah,
sense?
you're making a lot of
lying.
sense.
So once women hit about 27, 28, their mentality switches.
Yeah.
True.
Right? So
Sometimes.
sometimes. So some of them who
Most
are too
times.
picky, that will be doing the picky until they hit 35. Once they hit 35, desperation sets in.
Can I say something?
No. Let me do it.
So you're doing like that? Okay.
No, you go after me. We keep it civil.
Yeah, right.
We're going around. We're going around. There was something you said about the age, though. I want to also piggyback on that. Women are more honest when they're older.
When they hit 28.
When they're older, later part of their 20s. And also they're mature in their sexualities.
do they
In
know-
that age, when they're older,
Yeah.
they're more expressive and more. They're not
They'll
as
tell you-
shy.
they'll
They tell you what they want,
want.
what will satisfy them, what will make them happy. Younger women are not very confident in or open
Oh, no,
in
they are
their
not-
sexuality.
Let me
They-
add something to that though.
Okay.
Let me add a question to that.
Okay.
In my mind, when you say that, I'm thinking about everybody but a Nigerian woman or an African woman. Will an African woman, right, who's 40, be honest about what she wants? Because let me just be honest. Let me just say one thing, right? We went to a party before where we were dancing, and the ladies, we were just dancing, just having fun at my aunt's
Oh, yeah.
birthday party. There were some ladies who were single who were
Ready.
probably 15 years older.
Oh yeah.
And they won't let this guy rest because I like how you dance.
I like how you dance.
These are this Mumu right here.
They're like that.
Now listen. So
He was over there.
because from my perspective, I want to say I can make the statement and say there's a stigma against women in their 40s and 50s, older women dating younger men in African culture. Would you agree or not?
You have to go there with the Nigerian thing.
Let's go. Let's get busy.
Can I get specific?
No.
Get busy.
No. Let him respond. Let him respond.
Let me go.
Go ahead.
Because I've dated Nigerian. Let me start talking now. This is ridiculous.
Okay.
Get it real.
All right, go
Come
ahead.
on.
Okay. Collins. Go.
Okay, so I want to say specifically, and I've said this before in this show. I've talked to different girls from different parts of different places in Nigeria. So this does play a role. Some of the girls that I've talked to are different, and they were a little bit younger, but there's this thing about what Ike was saying earlier about them not being sure about what they want, playing these games back and forth. I don't know this thing, this one, that one. And what happens is the forming is like fronting or pretending or playing hard to get.
Right.
And what I'm realizing is that a lot of these women are now realizing that when it's already after the injury time is already done with, like their time, the era is
Can you
finished.
put an age to this?
Injury time usually
Like 35 or?
I would honestly say these days people are healthier. People now this stuff is extended, so I would say injury time probably ends about 38. That's when you're done. That's to me 38, 39 is like okay.
You get me so.
The game is pretty much over. It's done.
At 40, the referee have blown the whistle.
It's done.
Not for American women though.
Not for
No,
that's
no,
right. Not for American women at
Okay.
all. And what I'm realizing is that they play these games, and it's all this back and forth rigmarole trying to find these sugar daddies. It's a common thing that I've noticed. Some of them are grounded, not all of them. Some of them are grounded in saying that okay, this is what I want. I want to marry this. I want to be with this kind of guy, and they're trying to go for that. But that's because they're starting to see that all that formula that the older sisters were doing back in the days, it didn't work for them.
But I'm talking about.
Okay,
Can I
no,
tell you-
I thought
And
you
then why
responded
did
to that. Okay,
let me just finish up. Let me
Okay.
finish up. Why did they end up like that? These older women end up like that in the first
Okay,
place.
that's what I'm gonna answer.
Okay.
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Why did they, how did they
Yes,
get
sir.
there?
If you look into the African society, marriage is not only between a man and a woman. Marriage is between one family and another family. So these women, most of these women, most of them stay single to that late period because they're trying to capture that person that their family will accept.
Man, you know what? I'm sorry.
Okay, but my question was.
I'm not done. I'm not done yet. So they're trying to capture that person that family will accept. So the African women are more picky
Yeah,
than the African American women because African women might give you a chance,
that's true.
right? But the African woman, once you don't meet those criteria they have set,
That's it.
you're not good enough to be brought back home. You don't
Okay,
have a
bring it down to
chance.
his question.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I'm
bring it
gonna
down to his question.
So now they waste that time until they get to a point where now the family is telling them just bring anybody.
No,
Yeah.
Pascal. that's
Okay,
not his
so my question
His
was this.
yeah.
My question was,
Yeah.
we agreed that a woman who's more mature, like 38,
It's more
45,
expressive and yeah, is that the same
is
with
going to
Nigeria?
tell you what she wants.
Oh,
right?
that's the question
I
I was asking him.
Right.
I would say an American woman, an African American woman, they will let you know, look, young man, this is what I want from you, and they're factual. Now, the example I gave is we were at a party. I know what these women want from this guy, right? I know what they wanted,
But they can't come out and say
but they exactly so.
because of culture,
Culture, yeah.
upbringing.
But it still goes back to what you were saying.
Okay, hang on.
They're
hang
confused
on,
about
hang on.
what you're talking
Exactly.
about. Family and themselves.
Exactly.
They don't know if they should satisfy themselves.
Yes.
And they should
Like the
satisfy
True.
family.
That's an answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a direct answer.
Yeah.
To answer your question again, also, Nigerian women or African women are not as expressive as American women, even in their 40s. They're not. That is one.
African
yeah.
women depend on the country, depend on which country you come from.
Well, we
The African women
in another episode we did before, we mentioned those countries,
the African
right?
women that are colonized by the French.
They're more expressive.
They're more
They're more
expressive.
you can say-
Interesting.
Yeah, they're more expressive or
Interesting.
more freaky. More freaky.
Yeah.
More freaky like Americans.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's not divert too much from what is the acceptable or
Let's conclude.
let's
I'm
conclude.
gonna conclude.
What's the acceptable age? Yeah, let's conclude.
Okay,
in
from my
that.
personal
Okay.
perspective,
Yeah,
I don't
You
know.
want to talk about? Yeah, a lot more?
No, I was saying I forgot the topic. We went so off.
No,
Yeah, it's all
what
good.
is
It's all
acceptable
good.
or
Okay.
you know?
From my perspective, I think +4, -4, in a situation where both people have the same mentality, mental space. So, and this is just from my perspective right now. I can't see myself communicating long term with somebody who is 23. I don't know what we'll be talking about because I'm trying to sit in boardroom meetings with people who are 45 in my mind. Also, somebody older than me, somebody who's like 8 years older than me, I could just see them experiencing life to the point where they have more information to tell me what to do. So I don't know if I'll be comfortable with that coming from the top. But I do know that it changes as I get older. I will be looking for different things at different points in my life. Like once I am completely self-sufficient and I'm sure about what I bring to the table from now to the end of my life, I believe, it changes, it shifts things. But as I'm still building myself, I can't see, somebody who's that much younger and this much older. I think 4 + 4 - 4 kind of makes sense for me right now.
Okay, Amy.
I think honestly, I've talked to different kinds of women. Surprising. I don't know how I've done it, but I've talked to a lot of Nigerian women. Unfortunately, And throughout my experiences dealing with them and even all the women I've talked to made me realize that, like he said, as you get to different ages, you start to look for different things. And I realized as I started dating these women, I started finding myself realizing that a lot of these women haven't found themselves yet. And as you get older, I know that it takes experience to kind of really get to know what you really, really want and what you personally really need. And for me, personally, I would say the answer would probably be, for right now, as of right now, it would be maybe like +5, -5 for me. I would date somebody 5 years older than me, but hey, it all depends on, whatever what you're looking for.
Okay, Pascal.
For me, I would kind of only advise young people out there to really don't put like two of you, like my younger ones,
Yeah.
right? Don't put that -4 + 4 -5 + 5. Be open, have an open mind. The reason why I say have an open mind is this, especially have an open mind in the downside, not in the older side.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you never know where the jewel is going to come from and what age range that jewel is going to come from. As long as you're not breaking the age limits, below 18. Now, for myself, I'm completely taken, so I'm not available to date. But if I was available to date, I would slam whoever I like, period.
But are you willing to share the? Nah.
No, I ain't shining.
You know it's good, right? It's
Just know that
So good.
I'm not in the market. I'm completely right.
Okay.
Completely right.
All right, guys. I think I was throwing this out. I don't know if you guys agree. I think we should do a part 2 of this episode and invite 2 females in their 20s and 2 in their 40s.
Interesting.
How about that?
Two smart females.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
That's two
no
smart.
dummies.
Two
No
females
dummies.
in their 20s and 2 females in their 40s.
40s.
So we can get a different
Absolutely.
perspective, women's
I agree.
perspective.
Okay,
Or something.
so can I say something on that? If you want to be on the show and you're between 20 and 40, apply.
in the Los Angeles area.
That's it. I'm
Not-
Los Angeles there.
not-
He does stuff through social media. You know how to reach us. Either he does stuff on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on our YouTube. Just let us
Yeah,
know.
let us
You know, we'll interview you or whatever. Go through and make sure you're good enough to come on the show. Okay, in my
If you're coming
conclusion.
to fight us, don't come.
Don't come, Duco.
If you're coming to show us, this is not pro, it's not World War III. We're not ISIS. Okay, go ahead.
All right. In my conclusion,
Oh my God.
what is the acceptable or appropriate age to date in a relationship? It really depends on what you want. For me now, to get in a relationship, it has to be somebody younger, age-wise. It has to be I'm 44. Come on, I have to date somebody younger. But I can have conversation. I can mess around, play around with almost any age. Women that are older than me. I can. There's some beautiful women that are in their 50s. Yes, there's some beautiful women
Angela Bassett
in their
type. I
60s.
like
Some
them.
women, even the older, most women, the older they get, the more they take care of, the better they take care of themselves.
And the more
And they look
beautiful
so sexy
The
and
more
so
In
beautiful.
America or Nigeria, they have not.
More in America, yeah, troublemaker. Yeah, trouble.
The funky?
I know where he's going with that.
Okay, can I ask something to what you
I saw you do real quick before let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you like
Okay, well, I'm gonna say, you guys just made me.
Okay, let me ask
anyway.
Okay, so
Anyway,
Let me ask
No, you were
something
saying
to what- let me ask something to add on what you guys say about age. For me personally, Pascal, I'm one of the best women. Hey, let me not say this. If I get in trouble, go ahead.
all right, guys. Well, this whole episode, like Pascal said, I think really age is nothing but a number. I've had a girl that she lied to me that she was 27.
Ooh.
And she was 22, as a matter of fact.
Whoa,
okay?
Wow.
Which legally I wasn't doing anything wrong by talking to her. But when when I was talking to her, she told me she was 27. Come to find out later, she told somebody else she was 22. So I'm like, okay, what were you trying to do in the first place? Trying to make yourself look older so we can be closer in age or whatever. No, I looked at her based on her personality and not just appearance, but for when I found out she was lying, to boost her age, I just thought, she's shitty. She's a piece of it. She's not really worth it, Keep it real. Keep it in perspective.
Can I ask you a question about that?
I'm the
Can
conclusion.
I finish my conclusion? So I think be honest with what you want. That's the most important
And
thing.
be honest with your age too.
Yeah.
Be honest with what you want. Everybody has game. Everybody has an agenda. As long as your agenda matches with the other person with my agenda, it's cool. But be
I agree.
upfront with your agenda.
Okay,
That's
that's
what
one
I
thing.
mean.
And on Facebook, if your picture is one you took 20 years ago, upgrade it.
Sir, just a quick
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
Don't you think you can tell the difference between a 22-year-old and a 29-year-old through conversation more than once?
No,
Not necessarily.
for
No, not
everybody.
necessarily.
No, not
Not
everybody.
really.
Not
Have you seen a
necessarily.
fool at 40 before?
Yeah.
I'm not one, so I
I've seen.
I can't see myself.
Come on, somebody.